Hello everybody and welcome to another amazing video of DIY investing. For today's video, I'm going to be breaking down why this cycle is going to be the most profitable one of all time and how all of these altcoins are setting up for some of the biggest gains we have ever seen, comparing it to each and every bull run the altcoins have ever had. I truly believe that where we're at right now is the earliest point of this bull run, and anybody that's actively investing is going to be the one that sets themselves up for the potential of 100x returns. For today's video, I'm going to be breaking down some of the high cap cryptos, many of the cryptos that you guys hold yourselves, so that I can explain how I'm positioning myself, the way that I see the market playing out from here, so that you guys can also know exactly what to expect over the next couple years. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and with that being said, let's jump right into this amazing video today. Now guys, when we're looking at this market cycle, we need to stay paying attention to Bitcoin. Now with Bitcoin breaking out, it's been stealing the spotlight, it's been outperforming altcoins along this entire leg up. Now here's the important thing to remember. Once this outperformance stops, we will see a short-term run in the altcoins, and that'll be our first alt season. It happens every single cycle. The big thing about this cycle, though, is the fact that this will be the first real bull run where altcoins outperform Bitcoin, and that will be the first time that has happened since 2017. This cycle will be much, much bigger, and so I do think that that will happen in the short term. The last time that that happened for the altcoins in a big way, or really comparing it to what we're seeing today, was actually this final leg up right here. We actually saw a lot of outperformance inside of the altcoins whenever Bitcoin ended up making this final sort of blow off top. It always happens at the latter end of that Bitcoin impulse before the altcoins end up taking any sort of dominance. And so I think that we could see something like that. We might pull back over here at this resistance a little higher up, maybe retest this breakout point, but I do think that we're going to be running upwards of $40,000 and $50,000 and running at that resistance higher at the 618. And during that period is where we would expect to see an outperformance inside of the altcoins. It doesn't have to be too crazy. I do think we'll have a nice run in the altcoins, but we got to remember that this is going to be happening over the course of a multi-year cycle. So it's not going to be all at once, but I do think we will get our first altcoin rally at some point during the top of this leg up. Now guys, the big thing that we're going to be talking about in here is really talking about what the heck the markets are doing. What we see inside of the markets is truly setting itself up for the biggest bull run of all time. And I'm going to continue to make these videos explaining it. I'm going to continue to explain it and annoy you guys because it really is going to be happening. And when it happens, a lot of people are going to be mad at themselves because they didn't invest enough. And that's the biggest regret that everybody has. This cycle, I have invested every single thing that I have. I have made updates explaining how I'm literally all in, guys. I'm not kidding when I say that. I am truly all in on the market. All of my money is invested in the crypto markets. I put everything I have into them because I really do believe in this coming bull run. And so if we're going to be looking at, how this cycle could be playing out, the thing that we need to put a lot of focus on, in my opinion, is actually Ethereum. And what we see with Ethereum is pretty much the exact same market structure as what we saw leading into that 2017 bull run. And that's what I think is amazing, considering the fact when we get over here and take a look at the altcoin total market cap and the entire price history of altcoins themselves look exactly the same as they did right before that 2017 bull run. Which is funny because if we're counting Elliott waves, this leg up here was a wave 1, 2017 was wave 3, and then wave 5 at the end of 2017, the beginning of 2018. So that means our entire last cycle was just wave 1. Wave 2 was us retesting those prior all-time highs, and in the exact same way that we did that in 2016, wave 3 is going to be where we're breaking out and going into price discovery. We still have a wave 5 after that. I think that this cycle will be way more parabolic, and so it would make sense that if the altcoin total market cap looks the same, Ethereum also looks the same, to which it does. The 2016 market structure leading at the beginning, this was literally the beginning of 2017, was right there. And so that is pretty much this exact same point inside of this cycle for Ethereum. I don't think that we're going to instantly go into price discovery. I do believe it'll be a little bit more gradual, although I think Ethereum will run upwards of 35,000. We'll see some type of pullback in here, and then, ultimately that will take us into that reaccumulation leading into a bigger move in 2024 and 2025. So I don't think it's going to be instantaneous, but I do believe that this is the path that we are taking. And so as a whole, we will see altcoins benefit from this massively. We have to talk about XRP because it's truly one of the oldest altcoins we have that is still seeing upward growth today. Now, a lot of people were writing it off in the last cycle, and even more people are writing off in this cycle because we never made a new all-time high, whereas some of the altcoins did, XRP did not, and it got sued. Through the lawsuit, we've had a lot of dampering on upward growth because it's not accepted on Coinbase, right? So the American exchanges can't accept it. Here's the thing. I believe they're going to win the lawsuit, and we will see another massive cycle. Now, big picture, guys, we understand that the altcoin total market cap looks exactly the same as it did leading into the 2017 cycle. And if we're comparing what we see with XRP, we see the same thing. But the thing with XRP is we only have up to 2016 for Ethereum's total price history. We have all the way back to 2013 in the beginning of the entirety of altcoins for XRP. And what's interesting here is inside of that 2013 and all the way into the 2017 cycle is XRP made this exact same accumulation where we top and then we make lower highs throughout this period, and then we go through this long ABC down, this kind of sideways accumulation, break out a descending resistance, flip it as support here, and then that's what sets the spring loaded bounce for that 2017 breakout into new all-time highs. What I find truly amazing is we see the same thing over here. It's just taken more time to see the same sort of growth. XRP is topped, our entire bear market was here, we made our first lower high, which was really our first impulse into the new bull cycle. Same ABC correction back down onto support. And now we've spent all this time going sideways, and when you literally take that chart from XRP and overlay it to where we're at today, it is following the exact same accumulation trend. And that's what I think is also really funny here. I do believe that we're going to see a breakout of this descending resistance, and it'll come up here a little bit higher. Most likely what happens, XRP runs up here, breaks out, goes all the way up to the top of this B wave, sells off, retests this as support, and then that's what sets us in for another massive 2017 bull run. This will obviously take more time. I'm expecting a top happening all the way over here at the end of the year of 2025. So this will take way more time to develop. Understand that. It's not just going to instantly teleport. But at some point we will see this inside of XRP. I think that it'll just have to happen once Bitcoin starts to break all-time highs, as is the case with any sort of cycle. But XRP is one of the older cryptos, and in the exact same way that Ethereum follows that early trend, XRP is also following it as well, but it's following it even longer than Ethereum has. And so don't underestimate this cycle, guys. It's going to be way more powerful than people are letting you believe. Now, next up on the list is going to be ADA. I've been holding this one since the very low point of the bear market, of the last bear market. I bought this one all the way back over here at 5 cents, and I've been holding it ever since. I've never sold what I'm holding, and I'm going to continue to hold what I've got over the course of this next bull run. Now, what I find really interesting about ADA is the fact that with ADA, if we go to a log scale chart, ADA has only finished wave 1, right? Our entire last cycle was just a wave 1 impulse. 1, 2, 4, 5. And then what we saw was our ABC correction back down. And that was the completion of our bear market. But what I find really interesting is this is just our first impulse. This next cycle is going to be a wave 3. And when we come over here and look at Elliott Wave, I always like to share with you guys this chart because cryptos follow them so perfectly. People will hate on Elliott Waves, but there's literal math relationships with Elliott Waves to prove whether it's a true wave or not. So it's not like they're just some made up thing. With Elliott Waves, they show emotion in the market. With crypto, it's the most emotional market that we've ever had. So they go hand in hand, in my opinion. And it's one of the ways that I map out the way that the cycles play out. Inside of a lot of these altcoins, we've only ever seen this first wave up. That's just a one wave up. And a lot of them are getting ready for this big wave 3 impulse, which is the same thing that this altcoin total market cap is telling us. Wave 1, wave 3, wave 5. Wave 1, wave 3, wave 5, right? That's what we're beginning. Many of these altcoins are showing the same thing. ADA itself has only finished one impulse. This was a wave 1, this was a wave 2. We're getting ready for wave 3, wave 4, and then wave 5. We might only get, this entire cycle to be wave 3, and then that might lead us into wave 4 being our next bear market. And then after our next bear market, the end of 2026, then that next cycle will be wave 5. We could see something much more, elongated than what I just drew here. But I'm just trying to help you guys understand that this is the way that the structure is looking. This can't be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because of the fact ADA itself crossed back in between wave 1 market structure. So the only thing that this can be is a wave 1 and a wave 2. Wave 1, 2. We're getting ready for 3, 4, and 5. And that's exactly where this is showing us here. This big wave 3 is where many altcoins are at the very beginning stages of. So I'm telling you guys, a lot of people are underestimating it, and they're going to get left behind in a much bigger way than they did in the last cycle. Another good one to look at is Dogecoin. Dogecoin is a good one to look at because this one really shows the entirety of altcoins. Now with Dogecoin, it's in a little bit of a different position. It finished a wave 1, finished a wave 2, last cycle was wave 3, this bear market was wave 4, and we're getting ready for our final wave 5. So it's really interesting that this one's at a little bit of a different point, and some altcoins are. Some altcoins are getting ready for wave 3, right? Like ADA has finished a wave 1, and it's getting ready for a wave 3. Whereas Dogecoin has been around for a little bit longer. It's already finished a wave 1 and a wave 3, and it's getting ready for a final wave 5. So a lot of these are going to be at a little bit of a different point depending on the age of them, but they're still going to be providing a ton of upside appreciation over the course of this bull run. Dogecoin, is creating a bottom formation. I think that Dogecoin is going to be running upwards of about 32 cents, running all the way up here. Probably pull back, do something like this before it goes back up even higher. But this is, another brand new cycle, and Dogecoin just to its all-time high is like an 8x. So that's just Dogecoin. So, I mean, the opportunity for upside potential with where we're at the very beginning, we are early, guys. We are very, 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 very early. And if we do see another 2017 bull run, you got to expect that a lot of these altcoins are going to go through, pretty euphoric type of cycles. So the idea for them to hit those all-time highs, in my opinion, isn't that crazy. We've seen them do it every cycle up to this point. Assuming they see new adoption, they will hit all-time highs and make new all-time highs. Another good one to talk about is Solana. With Solana, it's kind of in that similar point where it's one of the more recent coins where it's only finished a wave 1, a wave 3, and a wave 5. So that means it's only finished its first cycle. A, B, C, back down. So that is literally a wave 1. 1 and 2. That's the way Elliott waves work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. That's just your first cycle. And so with Solana, it's the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up, ABC back down. This next bull run will be wave 3. One thing I love about Solana here is the fact that it just broke out of its descending resistance. This is just one short-term descending resistance, but it is the first step towards getting a bigger move to the upside, and we can see that right here. It broke out of descending resistance. In my opinion, it's running upwards of this high right here at about $38. Clear the range highs, then we'll run up to here, and it could easily run upwards of about $48, maybe even $58, depending on how impulsive it wants to get. I think that this one's undervalued. One of the things I love about Solana is how it looks identical to what we saw in Ethereum's first bear market, and that's actually indicated by this chart right here. This is something that I drew inside of my Discord server at the beginning of that capitulation for Solana. This was right before the FTX collapse. This was right during the FTX collapse. Now, what I noticed here was the fact that the market structure looked identical to Ethereum in its first bear market and first cycle, which makes sense because they follow, the same trajectory considering they're both layer 1s. Now, inside of this cycle, I think that we're going to differ a little bit. I don't think that Solana is just going to go sideways for 600 days like Ethereum did. I think that we'll get a much bigger move out of these lows. And you guys got to remember that if Bitcoin runs upwards of $40,000 and $50,000, Solana could easily run upwards of $100 and even $150, taking us all the way to the bottom of wave A or wave B. It's hard to say exactly, but that's the way that the market structure would look if Bitcoin makes a massive move. It doesn't have to. Altcoins can underperform. We've seen that happen in years past, and so that is an idea. So that is a potential that we could watch for. But even at the low end, guys, like I stated, these upwards of these next resistance levels are the next ones to hit. And from where we're at right now, those are still decent gains. 60%, 100%, and then 150%. This is a high cap crypto, keep in mind. Another one I want to look at is actually Chainlink. Chainlink is one of my favorite long-term holds. A lot of you guys ask me if I still hold this one. The answer is yes. Haven't sold any of it. Been holding it for the entirety of our last cycle and this cycle. I'm going to continue to hold it until the top of our next bull run. Now, one thing I love about this chart, we've spent a ton of time going sideways in this range. Very tight accumulation range. Basically a year of us going sideways. I think it's like 330 days. 335 days that we've spent going sideways. The second that we break this range, hold it as support, it's going minimum upwards of right here, which is $18, 20 cents approximately. We could see a pullback, retest this as support, and then I think that we could go even higher than that over the course of this year. Overall, guys, once again, if Bitcoin runs to $50,000, we could easily see Chainlink running upwards of 30, and $40, running all the way up to these moves up here, depending on how much adoption they see. But Chainlink's a staple in crypto. It's a blue chip, and it doesn't have that much market cap in comparison to, many other cryptos for how many cryptos actually utilize Chainlink. Now, I've heard that it doesn't have the greatest tokenomics, which is one of the main reasons why we don't see quite the same appreciation in price. But I do think that the way that this cycle is looking, our entire last bull run was just the first wave up. This next one, in my opinion, will take this one to valued at, multi-hundreds of dollars. I can't say how much it'll be, but 100x would have to go all the way up to about a $750 Chainlink. Is it impossible? No, it's not impossible. Is it likely? I would say no as well. But 50x big picture, considering we're at the cycle low for the most part, I don't think that that's unheard of. Ethereum did pretty much that from the bottom of its cycle low, and it had higher market cap than Chainlink does by, about 10 times. So I think that that's something that we could watch for, considering the amount of adoption this one actually has. This one's going to be breaking out of its almost a year-long range. When that happens, expect fireworks to fly. I'm still holding mine, going to be holding mine over the course of this cycle. Another one we're going to look at is going to be Monero, XMR. Look at some of these OG altcoins, because I love some of these altcoins. And these really tell a story about what we can expect going into this next bull run. With XMR, our entire last bull run was just a wave one. Wave one, right? Wave one, wave two, consolidation, and we're getting ready to start that next leg up. Guys, I'm telling you, this cycle is going to be massive. That 2017 bull run for all of these beginning altcoins that were there for 2017 and prior, XMR is one of the oldest altcoins that we have. That was just the wave one impulse, right? Our entire last cycle was wave one of two. So remember, if we're looking at Elliott waves, 2017 was wave one, 2018 bear market was wave two, our entire last bull market was wave one and wave two, but this is only the very beginning of wave three. So this next cycle is going to be massive, and that's what all of these are showing us. This is wave one, wave two, wave three, wave four, and then wave five. So all of these are going to see a lot of upward price appreciation. I can't tell you how high. I could never tell you that, because in a full-blown bull market, it's impossible to have any sort of idea. When the market comes in, when the money starts flooding in, they just go crazy. But if this cycle is going to play out like 2017, I'm telling you guys right now, as somebody who was there, even at the beginning of 2016, it was truly the most life-changing experience. Nothing compares. Our last cycle was nothing compared to it. It was pretty sad in comparison. I'm serious. So if this next cycle plays out like that, you guys are going to make a ton of money in the process. But I want you guys to be able to see what my perspective is inside of the market. Another one we're going to look at is Bitcoin Cash. I've had you guys ask me about this one. And I think it's cool that we talk about this one, because this one is a kind of an interesting point. If we're looking at this one's only ever finished a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. And then our bear market most recently was our A, B, and C correction back down, right? And so we never broke support. Technically, our all-time low was what we saw in 2018. So we made a higher high. So by default, that makes this entire last cycle a wave one, and this next one is going to be a wave three still. And so even though a lot of people, talk crap on Bitcoin Cash, even though the owner itself is kind of a wanker, I don't think it matters that much. I still think that these will be setting up for a wave three, and they most likely will still go into new all-time highs. This one is still part of PayPal. This one is still accepted in a lot of big places. So if retail comes in, they're going to buy these. They're going to think to themselves, oh wow, this one's like $400 Bitcoin, basically. I'm buying this one. And that's the way retail thinks when the market hype really comes in. We didn't see too much of that in the last cycle, but I think that we will in this next bull run. So, guys, I think that these will hold support and they will start going up. Up to this point, every one of these has held support. They've made the early stages of impulses. This is a wave one. This is a wave one. We're getting ready for another leg up that most likely is going to be taking us to minimum $204, which is right here, and I could definitely see us even running upwards of $380 before we see any sort of pullback like this. But this is most likely the way that the markets are going to be taking shape. And so don't be surprised if you see Bitcoin Cash making new all-time highs and people are actually investing into it in this next cycle, because I think that there will be a lot more money just kind of freely flowing through this cycle than what we saw in the last one. And this itself, up to this point, is still a one-wave impulse. Even though it's corrected all the way back down here, one-wave impulses can correct up to 99% of the beginning of the move, right? Which is more or less what we saw it do, 99%, probably closer to about 98%, but still, same thing, same rules apply. We held support, and we're most likely not going to be making another low, assuming that Bitcoin never makes another low from this point. And so that's just one to be paying attention to. One other one I want to talk about is Arbitrum. Because of the fact I hold Arbitrum, I believe that this one is going to play out in a big way over the course of an entire bull run. What we're looking at with Arbitrum, we definitely just broke out of our first descending resistance. So this entire consolidation, even if we go a little bit lower, it's just going to be a retest of that. And then we're going to be seeing, our next leg up that I think is going to be taking us upwards of about $1.50. And so, big picture, this one's going to be making new all-time highs. I don't see how this one won't see a ton of adoption. If we're comparing Arbitrum to what we're seeing across the board on a lot of other chains, we're not seeing nearly the amount of adoption. TVL on Arbitrum is about to make a new all-time high. We're also seeing cryptos that are leaving, or not necessarily leaving, but branding over and bridging to Arbitrum and building over there. They're actually seeing more volume by doing so in just the short while that they've bridged than they've seen on multi-months to even years on their other chain. So that's something to be paying attention for. If cryptos are able to just instantly bridge over to Arbitrum and they're already breaking record in volume in just a couple months, that's, an early sign that, hey, there's way more money over in Arbitrum than people are leading to believe. That's why I've tried to get everybody invested into the Arbitrum altcoins. I've annoyed a million people here because I've talked about a million different Arbitrum altcoins, but they're the ones that are going to be providing some of the biggest gains. So the obvious investment would be to invest in Arbitrum at 42. I don't think that it's the greatest investment in the world, but at a $1.5 billion in total market cap and the TVL about to break all-time highs, ranked 42, in my opinion, that is actually undervalued. And I do think that this one will be at least top 15, could very easily be top 10 in market cap. I think it will be at least for a short while, even if it just peaks and drops back down. I think that that's relatively where it will be at, considering the amount of adoption that's taking place inside of Arbitrum. So big picture, this is just the beginning of a new cycle. And what it kind of reminds me of, to some extent, is actually Uniswap, because Uniswap was really the staple of an airdrop, and I, in my opinion, kind of view Arbitrum as being similar to that, where if we come over here and actually look at the beginning, it kind of did a similar sort of thing where it made this listing pump, sold back down, but then it went through a lot longer period of reaccumulation. What we've seen with Arbitrum has been a much quicker period of accumulation. And, I'm only on a 1 hour time frame, and it's already looking like it's getting ready to break out. So I think that this one's going to be taking out a lot quicker. And a lot of that has to do with the fact Bitcoin's more bullish. So I would watch out for this one. I've already told you guys all about Arbitrum. Now that they've released a token, I'm holding what I got in the airdrop. I'm not really looking to buy more. I'm farming it currently with what I've got in the airdrop. So I'll earn more through yield itself. But that's kind of what I'm looking. If you want something that is going to see adoption, I think Arbitrum is a relatively safe pick given an entire bull run. So guys, we're getting here kind of, at the higher rankings. This is going to be 43 and upwards of 50. We're going to talk about 3 more before we finish up today's video. Let's talk about Fantom, because I do like this one big picture. On Fantom, it's had one of the nicer breakouts in beginning of the new bull run, and I think that that's going to ultimately continue to play out from here. If we look at this on a big picture basis, this one is also getting ready for a wave 3. And I think that that's something, everybody should pay attention for. This was a 1 wave, this was a 3 wave, and this was a 5 wave. A, B, and C back down. So we've only ever finished a 1 wave impulse. This was a wave 1. And so these early cycles are only at the very beginning stages before this big wave 3. I'm telling you guys, some of these early cycles are going to be providing massive gains. And when we're zooming out on this, it's kind of insane. From where we're at right now, even after the breakout, just to those all-time highs is like a 6x. And so that's not to mention what it goes to once it's, into price discovery itself. And so we just broke out of this range. This was a long-term accumulation range, had this perfect A, B, C correction all the way back down, broke out of it, had this next leg up, A, B, C back down, and now we're just consolidating here, basically waiting for that leg up to go. In my opinion, it's going to be running up to this resistance here, which is about 86 cents. That's where I think we're headed in the short term, but if Bitcoin runs up to $48,000, we could see this thing go all the way up to $1.70. There's no real, threshold that it has to hit. All is centered around adoption, and this one is one that I think is going to see a lot more adoption over this bull run, so don't fade this one from here. Now, another one is going to be Aave. I really like Aave, and it's the staple of DeFi if you're looking for a DeFi coin. And I don't think you can really go wrong holding this. It's one of the safer picks in my opinion. And this one is also going to kind of factor into, a 1 wave. It only has ever finished a 1 wave impulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And our bear market was the first ABC correction. A, B, and C. So this next cycle, once again, is getting ready for wave 3. DeFi in the last cycle was pretty much the first cycle we really ever even saw it take off. There were some DeFi protocols around prior, like MakerDAO, but as a whole, we didn't really see anything crazy taking off with DeFi. With this being its first leg up, and most recently, this going through this accumulation, our next leg up is going to be taking us upwards of about $265, which if we get off a log scale chart, that's going to be upwards of here. So I do think that this one is going to be breaking out of this accumulation pretty soon. Probably do something like this, and then that'll set us in for a much bigger move upwards of this resistance here. It could top a little bit shorter, maybe at $200, but either way, guys, all of these are going to be breaking out of their accumulation ranges, and that will be most likely a pretty decent move out of those, considering we've been in these ranges for basically a year. So I do believe that the breakouts will be pretty big, but a lot of that depends on what Bitcoin does. The bigger the move Bitcoin makes, the bigger the move the altcoins will make as well. Now the final one on today's list is going to be Decentraland. This one's ranked top 50 in market cap, so we don't really need to go any higher than that. But with this one, guys, I think that all of these just look so exceptionally bullish. In the short term, almost all of these cryptos have only ever finished their first impulse. They're getting ready for the next wave 3s. Wave 4, and then we'll have another wave 5 after that. So we're just at the very early stages of our beginning subwaves of the new cycle, just at the very beginning stages, all the way back down in here. And that's one that I'm watching is Mana, mainly just because of the fact I've been holding it since the last bear market. I actually bought this one in 2019, and so this one was one of my first 100Xs that I ever had. Bought this one back in 2019, and I've just been holding what I've got ever since. So this one's at a little bit of a different point. This one's actually closer to what Dogecoin saw, where we finished a wave 1, we finished a wave 3, wave 4, and we're getting ready for our final wave 5. So this one, being a little bit different point in the cycle, I think that this one will be finishing its first impulse, whereas some of the other ones are only in their beginning of wave 3. So all of them, depending on the time that they were added to the cycles, are going to be at varying degrees of adoption. And that is indicated a lot by Elliott waves. That's one of the things that I like to use to analyze the markets, because it really does give me an idea of how much more appreciation a lot of these have. And it's one of the best ways that I've been able to make a lot of money. I was actually able to buy Solana extremely early because of Elliott waves, and that's how I look at market cycles, is actually through early impulses. And when we're looking at some of these guys, a lot of these are at those early impulses leading into the beginning of a new cycle. Decentraland is the definition of that, leading into this consolidation that we're at right now. So wave 1, wave 3, wave 5. Just finished ABC correction back down. Just flipped prior resistance, now acting as support, being this level here. Now that we flipped it, we're setting ourselves up for our next leg up, which in my opinion is going to be this resistance right here, which is basically going to be $1.10 to about $1. And from where the price is at to this next resistance is about almost a double your money opportunity inside of a high cap crypto. So these are all cryptos that are going to be taking off in a big way. I mean, if we look at Fibonacci as a way to basically dictate how high we can go, we need to go to a minimum of the 1618 for this to be a wave 3, which the 1618 takes us to even higher than this resistance, all the way up to about $1.40, which from where we're at right now currently to that would be about 1.25x. So a lot of these, in my opinion, are going to be making much bigger breakouts. The bigger Bitcoin moves, the bigger the moves that these are going to have. And these are just some of my favorite cryptos that a lot of people have asked me in the comment section. If you guys have any other questions, if you guys have any other cryptos you want me to comment on, leave a comment inside of the comment section and I'll actually get to those. There's a lot of altcoins in the market. I know a lot of you guys hold them. I want to get to as many as I possibly can to provide the most value. But these were just some that I hold. These are some that I've been looking in. These are some that I know you guys hold as well. So if you guys found value in this, leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you guys want to actually follow along with what I'm trading, what I'm investing in, my exact portfolio, all of these altcoins that I've shared with have either been long-term plays that we've been investing over the course of the 4 or 5 years that I've had my Signal service, or they're recent picks that we've just picked up. So if you guys want to be able to see how I'm invested, which new altcoins I'm picking, what ways I've diversified my money, what altcoins I've sold out of my long-term portfolio, then links are in the description to be able to follow step by step. You guys will be able to follow that on my website. It's a one-time membership fee. Once you guys are in there, you're going to once you guys are in there, you're going to know everything that I'm trading, even if it's aside from crypto markets as well. Thank you all so much for the support, though. I really do appreciate everything that you guys do. The fact that I'm able to do this every single day makes me so happy, and so I want to be able to provide the most value. If you guys have any recommendations for videos you want covered, feel free to leave a comment below. And if I find value in that as well, if I think that it could be profitable for you guys to be able to see that content, then ultimately I'll make it. With that being said, I will catch you in the next one, though. As always, peace out.